Conversations, and we're just going to start. So from starting with you, Leah, you can introduce yourself, give us a little bit of information of who you are and what you do.
Hi everyone, I'm Celia Simone. I'm a lifestyle correspondent, fashion stylist, and author. And I know Lawrence is like, author, where is this book? We've been talking about this book forever. But it's coming soon. It's taking a little bit longer because I'm working with a company known as Cosign that's going to be helping me with the ebook, where every product that I mentioned you'll be able to click on and do a direct purchase. So this is really cool, so that's why it's taking so long. So, yeah, I'm born and raised in Brooklyn, graduated from Brooklyn College with a degree in television and radio. And initially I wanted to work in fashion, so I spent around 19 years and my 20s working in the fashion industry. I started out as a model dresser, working backstage at Fashion Week. I did that for a few years, and I supervised the model dressers. And then one day I'm like, okay, you have to just go for the juggler. What is it that you want to do in fashion? Why are you skating around it? So I took a bottom position as one of 5 wardrobe stylists, assistant stylists, with the stylist known as Havana on My Feet in New York City. And it wasn't glamorous, it wasn't much fun, it was hard labor. And that was the biggest lesson I learned about being a stylist. If you want to learn clothes everywhere, that's 90% of the job of being a stylist, unless you have money for a messenger. So I did that, and then literally just from talking to people and letting them know what I had going on, as an assistant stylist, I landed this impromptu gig in Atlanta working with a set of Love and Hip Hop, dressing Nico and Mimi. So that was my first gig. And it was crazy, all kind of stuff going on with it, but that was my first gig. And then from that one gig, my phone began to ring with, oh, well, my friend just got picked up on Love and Hip Hop New York, or this friend got this going on, and that friend got that going on. And then I did all of that. And to come full circle, after doing wardrobe styling, I realized I don't want to be a stylist anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. But it felt good to conquer it, and I decided to use my degree and follow my passion as a correspondent. So that's what I'm doing now. I cover most major red carpets, BET, MTV, AMAs. Yeah. So that's where I'm at now. I'm going to pass the mic because I think you guys know a little bit about me, and I'll continue as we go on.
Hi, good morning and good afternoon. Now, I'm Jules Nobles, and I'm from Mississippi. I'm very new to New York and have met some of the most wonderful people since I've been here. I'm a critical care and emergency room nurse, and as well, I do acting. So from an entrepreneurial standpoint, I have a clothing line that I'll be launching later, but more in the near future. I work at Sloan Kettering, which is a cancer center here in New York City, and I take care of some of the sickest people you probably ever wanted to think about, and their families, which are also going through. So in that, I had a thought about how I could do something more than just take care of that family during that time of bereavement, and I came up with a cosmetic line called Jules, and it stands for beautiful energy. And for me, I feel like when I walk in the room with your family member or your friend who may be suffering from something that they can't control, they don't know where it came from, and it's not something that's contagious, I feel like my energy coming in the door sets a tone for what's going to happen in the room. And so that's where Jules came from. So it's lotions, it's lip gloss, it's something that makes, a lot of times more of my patients are women, and they don't feel beautiful. They don't feel what they do. Every day you have the liberty to put on your lip gloss or put on your lashes or put on whatever you feel like makes you more of a female. And I am, sadly enough, often in the company of women who don't get that liberty. So Bella Jules is what I'll be promoting soon enough, but that's pretty much why I'm here as one of the panelists. I really want to say thank you for coming, and I look forward to having a conversation with you.
Rivers. I am a certified life coach, confidence coach, author, as well as former magazine editor. Originally from Detroit, Michigan. I've lived here for 20 plus years. It's been an amazing experience. My whole thing with life coaching and confidence as a confidence coach is helping you with building your confidence as well as your sex appeal, reducing stress. I mean, there are techniques that I teach to help you get through the day, get through relationships, get through all kind of things. It all begins with what you think, because your unconscious is always listening. And you are, or you act as you think. Let me let that marinate for a moment. You act as you think. So it's really, your thoughts are really, really important. I'm also working on my second book called Confessions of a Pretty Hot Chick. The first book was called The Pretty Thoughts of a Hot Chick, and that was a wellness self-help book. So that's it about me. I'll let all these other lovely ladies, so we get everything in this afternoon. Thank you so much for coming, and we really, really appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Katie Wilson. I'm a 20-plus year entertainment vet, executive, basically consulted, and I guess I was Olivia Pope before y'all ever heard of Olivia Pope. It happened, I cleared it up, the press never knew. I service a multitude of labels, senior vice presidents and presidents such as J, Jive, Def Jam, Warner Brothers, Motown, Universal. I brought you artists like Alicia Keys, The Game, etc. Most important job that I ever had was being a parent. And I realized there's so many things we pick up in our lives, they all come with manuals. Anything you want to do, you need a license, but anybody can have kids. So still doing business, still doing the deals, but very focused on coaching people in their personal successes and in parenting.
Nice. She already started with me today. She gave you some tips already.
Hi everybody, my name is Lisa King. A lot of people call me my friends, and all of you can call me Lisa K. And I am a mommy to a genius little boy. He's 5 years old. His name is Isaiah. And I'm also an author of a book called By Design, a woman's ultimate guide to getting it right, keeping it tight, and claiming your queendom. Y'all like that? It's cute, right? Right, so I wrote this book. It all started with a love story, of course, and I'm going to keep it short, I promise you. A love story of, a woman, myself, who had all these dreams and aspirations, and then, you meet a guy, and you fall in love, and then it goes completely to the pits. And what you're left with is your reflection in the mirror, and you kind of forgot that you wanted to be this amazing, dynamic woman with all these dreams and aspirations. But you don't know what happened. You got lost in this relationship. And it could be a relationship with your significant other, or just, being totally dedicated to raising your children. But this book that I wrote, I wanted it to be a reminder for modern-day women to remember to put yourself first. That's the only way that you are going to have, that you're going to be able to help and inspire and motivate not only your kids, but generations of people who depend on you. And just to keep that short, we can move on. And I'm also a founder of a company called A Little Audacity. We host workshops, seminars, and events that are aimed to promoting the foundation of Black families, Black and brown families. And we also do educational workshops for women that want to get their life and wear their crown. That's it.
Hello, my name is Laura Land. I'm a yoga teacher, a spiritual coach, guide, writer, and the owner of Land Yoga here in Harlem, which just turned 5 years old. I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called 3.5 Acres Yoga, which does community healing through yoga, meditation, and mindfulness, specifically making sure that every cop in New York City is getting some breath work and some yoga training, especially important right now. So I came to yoga through theater. I have a BFA in acting, writing, and directing, and I take that with me wherever I go. And then as I transitioned into yoga full-time, I spent a little time in health insurance sales, as life will take you in strange places. And I'm so grateful for those years because that taught me a lot about business running, about sales, about how to manage my own little company. And I brought that into running the studio. And there's so much more than the studio, although the studio in itself is incredible. We show art, we have acupuncture and do tons of workshops. But the studio is beyond that. We produce Harlem's only yoga festival, an annual event up in front of the state office building. We do events like Train Your Brain, which is about how to use your thoughts to create your reality. And tons of other events and workshops that really expand beyond the space of the studio. So I'm excited about what we've done the last 5 years, and I'm about to launch a really exciting project, which is a subscriber part of my website called The Sanctuary. And you'll be able to go there as a subscriber and get mantras, meditations, and blog posts and video each month on a different topic. On abundance, on manifestation, on love, on how to arrange your house, actually. You've heard of feng shui, right? So the Indian version of that is called Vastu Vidya, which is it's about creating space. Because what we have around us also influences our thoughts, and that influences what we create. So it's hard to control out in the real world, but you want to control your home space. So all this really great stuff is coming, so I hope you'll keep in touch, and thank you so much for being here today.
Hello everyone, my name is Asia Monet. I'm a professional plus-size model with an 8-year career. I'm actually a freelance model, so I have built my reputation of, I took control of my career. I have a degree in business, and I definitely applied a lot of my knowledge from marketing to my business. I've been one of the faces of Ashley Stewart, if anyone knows of that store. Also, I've been in Essence magazine. I just came back from Paris from actually seeing clients overseas. They actually had their own version of Full Figure Fashion Week overseas in Paris, and that was absolutely amazing for me to see from the beginning of my career, when I used to walk through the door and they would say, we have no use for you, like your size, we don't. I'm like, the majority of women are like my size, like why aren't you catering to our women, our curves? So that has been my journey. I'm so thankful that I have made my imprint and continue to thrive in this business. I like to think of myself as a real woman in a model's world, because I am I represent the real woman. And when I'm in these corporate offices pushing for equal options, we want sexy styles, we want beautiful colors, we want to see ourselves represented in marketing, and I'm there pushing for that in my career. So I think of myself as a real woman. I'm the voice of real women in fashion. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Asia. You guys don't understand how proud I am to be sitting next to her. My name is Avery Watson. They call me Miss Artistry. I'm from the Bronx, New York, born in New York, raised in New York. I am a former Bad Boy Entertainment executive in operations, in planning, and I'm currently a CEO, entrepreneur of my own business, which is entitled Multi-Artistry Entertainment. I pretty much help brands, people with their projects, campaigns, in reference to managing it, as well as revamping a project, publicity, or as well as helping them with video content. I also shoot and edit videos, and I do PR for many different people. I have an NFL client right now. His name is Jordan Reed. He plays with the Washington Redskins. And I'm working on a documentary film called Stars Behind the Stars with Rotimi from Power. So I'm definitely growing, and I have so much more to learn in this entertainment business, but however, I definitely made my mark. I have my degree in multimedia communications, and my minor is dance theater, so I love the arts. That's why my company is called Multi-Artistry Entertainment. That's why I represent the art, because I love music, dance, entertainment in all areas, and I support yoga, I support women empowerment, I support on their correspondence. If I have an opportunity for a correspondent to get an interview with a client that someone may not know yet, but I know deep down inside they're gonna pop, I will let you know. So yeah, I support everyone, and I love all the ladies on this panel right now. Thank you for having me. This is Tashima, amazing. Follow me on Miss Artistry. Again, my name is Avery. The company is Multi Artistry Entertainment. Thank you guys.
Hi everyone, my name is Danny. I work in production right now. I'm at VH1. I work in brand and marketing, creative. I coordinate, and I also in my downtime, I'm a creative producer, so I oversee the creative process of all projects. And that's pretty much it. I have a simple life. I go to VH1 and just assist with the promos and just the direction of the shows that you guys watch. I Love It Hip Hop, the Amber Rose show. I have to sit in tons of meetings with the presidents, and we have to figure out a way to get people to just watch us and just help them carry the show on throughout the season and present the full lineup. So we have to pick which shows are going to stay and which shows are going to go. So yeah, pretty simple. Thanks for having me, everyone.
Danny's very, very humble. And that's why I appreciate you.
Hey y'all, my name is Chantal Maurice. Thank you to all you lovely ladies on the panel. Tashima, I'm glad to be here. Thank you guys for being here. I'm an actor, actress, creative spirit, creative soul. And just so you know, because a lot of people say they're actors, I will let you know what I've done so you know that I'm not just up here saying I'm an actor. I've worked with talent like Kevin Spacey in the Kevin Spacey Masterclass, was also able to receive training from him. I've been on TV shows like Blvd, which is here in New York, Limitless on CBS, Mr. Robot on USA, Younger on TV Land, and a show called Born Again Version that filmed in Atlanta that was on TV One. So that's me, that's what I do, and again, my name is Chantal Maurice. Thank you guys for being here.
You guys can hear me well, right? Yes. Speakers bouncing off. Just to reiterate, this is Cosmos and Conversations, women on top, celebrating women on top of their game. So when you hear their stories and you hear their backgrounds and you hear the contributions to what we live and do every day, this is what, this is who we are representing, and we're celebrating and highlighting that. And I'll just throw my 2 cents in there. Again, my name is Tashima Jones. I call myself a PR and brand consultant with extracurricular activities. I am just, because I create networking events. I'm an author. One of my first book is Being Broke Made Me Rich. It's available on tashimajones.com. I am also a mother. I produce and co-host a radio show, and I'm probably forgetting something else. Oh yeah, I'm a soccer mom too, by the way. So yeah, that is me, and I love doing things like this. I love highlighting people and celebrating other people, because without them, we wouldn't have certain things to watch, we wouldn't have certain things to read. I just appreciate the arts as well. So we're gonna go right back into it. Being a woman on top of your game, how is it to really conduct yourself in business as a female, especially a pretty, for example, I wasn't held to the show last Sunday, and I was like, is this inappropriate? Because I've been in corporate America, I worked at an investment bank, real estate, etc., and I always felt like I had to cover up, and I felt like I had to look a certain way because I didn't want to sway my work from the way I look. So how is it, your mental toughness and just being a woman in business?
I love this question. One thing people don't realize is that looking good is more than half the battle. People, psychologically, accept you and receive you better when you look good. How many people in this room follow people on Instagram because of the way they look? Or she fly, or yeah, she look cute, let me go ahead and like it. A lot of these women have really followers because of how they look. They don't even have anything else going on except how they look. So that proves to you that how you look can get you far, even in business. Now the flip side is, looking good can only take you so far. You have to back it up with this. So when you go, I show stop. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in New York. I will show up to show a house like $1 million. If the price point is 1.7, why would they want to buy this house through me if I look like I don't know what the heck I'm doing? Psychologically, people believe that you know what you're doing more when you do better. And psychologically, within yourself, when you look better, you feel better, and you actually kind of take on the role of being a businesswoman when you're dressed as a businesswoman. So you can't worry about, am I to this or to that? Now, being inappropriate is something different. I think that's one issue that most people have, appropriateness, what to wear to the right place at the right time. As long as you look appropriate and you're not wearing cleavage all the way down here, that's just saying, hey, I want to sleep with you in some people's mind. So I'm not saying take it that far, but being a little sexy helps you. There's nothing wrong with being sexy, and I think because there's so much sex being sold in America that people are now thinking that sexy is bad. No, sexy is good. Sex is nothing wrong with being sexy. It's just how far you take it and how appropriate you are, and just matching the right amount of sexiness or the right amount of appeal to whatever situation it is. I hope you guys get it.
Yeah, we get it, girl.
It's all about the appropriateness. Again, I came from the music industry. I taught chicks how to dress. I showed them the shoes that were hot. But at the end of the day, I sit in meetings with CEOs and I make the checks. So I'm not coming in there looking like a vamp. It's about being socially appropriate. When the music industry can no longer afford me, I then consulted international people. One of my clients, our government took out, but they were based in Paris. And when I came in to see my client, I didn't even pack a wardrobe. They knew my sizes, and everything was provided by the atelier. And it's always about being appropriate. So it's about the setting you're in. No, you don't wear the club dress in the morning or an afternoon meeting. It's not appropriate. So sexy, it's more about classic looks actually win. At the end of the day, one of my favorite examples, money does as money is. Julia Roberts. What does Julia Roberts drive? Anyone in the room know? No? Does she make good money? Is she well known? She has a Prius. What she drives don't make her.
So I love this question from you because I'm challenged in a way that in my everyday life, I stand in front of boardroom members and people in suits and everything in corporate offices with my bra and panty on. So you say, how do you maintain your respect and be heard? My opinion in that room matters a lot. It matters, it could make or break a line, depending on if I say the fit is right or anything like that. My thing is this, I demand my respect. Yes, I'm sitting there in a bra and panty, and yeah, you might even see through this is lingerie. But I don't carry myself in a way that invites someone to step those boundaries. You have to know your respect, you have to know your boundaries and stay true to them. I remember one client said to another model, we never seen Asia's nipples. Like they literally said that to her because I think maybe she was not covering herself when it's not time to be seen. You understand? So I would step behind and maintain a certain personal respect. And I mean, think of the nightmare of showing up to work in your underwear. That's basically my reality every day. And I go to some of the most extravagant buildings, down on Wall Street, and I'm walking in, but I carry myself as a businesswoman because that's, at the end of the day, that's what it is. I'm a businesswoman, and I demand my respect. And so I feel like, you have to act as you want to be treated, honestly, in the workplace. And highlight your minds, highlight your thoughts, highlight your qualities that are not in the physical. That's how I feel like you can maintain that boundary.
So for me, I'm also a videographer, a publicist, and a manager, and I'm tapping into plus size modeling too. But however, it's very difficult for me because the day that I want to be a videographer, it might be someone else in the room that I might need to kind of dress up a little bit, but I'm also like, I'm gonna be sweating, gonna be hot, what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna wear. So for me, it's a battle for me, Tashima, all the time to figure out what I'm gonna wear, what I'm gonna do. Especially with me being a videographer, it's times where I cannot wear sandals, I can't wear shoes, because I might get lower than expected. I can't wear a dress. So it's timing, knowing the event that you're in, like everyone else said, just be appropriate to the time and place that you're in. Like, it really all depends on all those things. Because I can't show up to an event, it's like a brunch in a tight black little dress. You're doing too much, pretty much, right?
Just how the benefits and difficulties of being a woman in business. So it doesn't have to necessarily be fashion, it could be anything.
Okay, because I wanted to address about appropriateness and sex appeal. Because as an entrepreneur, and my business is about sex appeal. The name of my company is Pretty Hot Chick. Forgive me if I didn't mention it, but it's called Pretty Hot Chick. So that title in and of itself speaks sex appeal. So if I'm coaching you about, for example, how to boost your sex appeal, if I don't look sexy, I mean, what the hell are you coming to me for? Right. I'm just saying. So obviously if I'm going to a meeting, I'm not going to be dressed like this. But in this atmosphere, this is who I'm promoting. I'm my brand. I am the Pretty Hot Chick. And I'm coaching other Pretty Hot Chicks on how to help enhance their pretty hotness. So you have to be mindful of your brand, number one. And it is tough for me because, for example, some of you may have a certain view of me because of how I'm dressed, but if you have a conversation with me, that view might change. Whether it changes or not, I don't really care. But the point is you have to be comfortable in who you are. And knowing your brand, knowing who you're targeting, and again, being comfortable in who you are. Because sexy is not about a style of dress. Sexy is being comfortable in, again, who you are. And I go back to the quote that I give to my clients and so many other people, you are as you think. Yes, I am a sexy woman. I'm a sexy woman. I'm a sexy black woman. Yes, I am, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. However, I can dress appropriately, that meaning conservatively, although I'm not conservative. So my definition of conservative would be something like a cute tailored suit, a tad bit of cleavage, and sexy ass heels. I'm just saying, talk intelligence. So that's all I have to say about that.
Okay, so you want to say something? Okay, yeah, take it.
Hey guys, so just to answer that question, I would also like to say, just working in the office, I just go in with the mind state that I want to like latch on to people who's really smart. You know that saying, like if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Know your craft in and out, because usually the person who hires you does not know what to do. That's what they hired you for. So always know your craft in and out, and it'll be so much easier. All those other things will follow, but just know your goal, know what you want, and know your craft inside out, and you can tackle anything.
Okay, so we're going to talk about money, especially for those of us who have our own businesses. First, what was that leap? Let's say you may have left a 9 to 5 and then just going in all on your own. What was that leap like, not only in your relationships, but financially?
I have the mic, so I'll go for it. One of my favorite things to talk about. I put all the chips on the table when I opened the studio. And I actually believe that the studio has worked because of that. Because I believe that when you take that big risk, I mean, a lot of people want to wait until everything's ready, but then your brain isn't forced to come up with that crazy solution. When you actually put yourself in that panic mode and you have no parachute, you have no B plan, you put it all there, you're going to come up with these crazy solutions that you wouldn't have come up with that same circle of thinking. You know, I like talking about, again, like so many other women here, about how our thoughts make our life. And, you know, one of the statistics is that we think the same 80%, the same circle of thoughts again and again and again. And so we're getting the same circle of patterns happening in our life again. So in order to break that, sometimes you have to do something crazy and you have to just jump into it. And it's a scary, scary thing to do that. But I always said to myself, you know, what's the worst? I did it again recently, a year ago. I bought my own home and I felt that scary feeling again. So I said, okay, what's the worst that's gonna happen, right? Because I have foundation, I have family, I have friends, I have my wits and my strengths that have gotten me this far. I'm not gonna be on the street. You know, I'm gonna find a way. So I always like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? I'll be okay. I'll be okay. So I'm gonna take that leap because I know that that's when the magic happens. Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because when I was an assistant stylist, I literally was one of 5 stylists and I got paid hardly anything. And I think it was so hard because I was dating someone who was a CPA at like 24. He was like the bomb. He was a little younger than me. And I think it didn't make sense to him, me following my dreams. But I'm a big believer in this. People are gonna have opinions all the time. And I was asking my mom, like, what do I want to have as a takeaway when people think about me today here at this event? And I was thinking, ask yourself, are you independently owned and operated as a business? Are you independently owned and operated? Meaning, my mom is opinionated. My friends are opinionated. My man is opinionated. My grandmother, my sister, my cousins, everybody has an opinion. And a lot of it has to do it because they truly care and love me and they want to see me go the right way. But with them having opinions, it kind of made me confused. Right. And I started doubting, do I want to do this, or should I step out, or am I stupid, or what's going to happen? Like, honestly, and I went into panic mode, like, what if I'm homeless? Like, what if I don't have any place to live? Because they're all telling me that this is stupid. Especially people that you consider that have it going on or are doing well for themselves, when they have these opinions, it puts that pressure on you and you start feeling like, is this the right decision? But you have to be independently owned and operated. Step back. What is my gut telling me? I really believe in intuition a lot. And I feel like once you tap into that and you trust yourself, great things happen. So that is really what I've been just thinking about a lot recently, and just everything. You just have to trust yourself and step out without the opinions of others. And it's never going to be easy because, trust me, my mama got an opinion for everything. I love her for that. But at one point, I have to step back and say, okay, what does Celia want to do? So that's the biggest part about stepping out, just keeping trusting yourself and knowing that you can do what you want to do and be successful at it.
Basically, I just believe people put a price point on what they believe is your worth, and I've been really dealing with that for the past 2 years, for letting people know, like, you cannot go into Starbucks and order a venti macchiato and say, you know what, I got $3. Can you give me that venti macchiato? No, you can't do that. You can't do that to me either. So that's just, my metaphor for that. You can't put your price on me. I'm giving you the price. We can negotiate, but you cannot, tell me what my price point is. That's right, girl. So that's
Wow, everything you guys said is so amazing and so correct, and we can all relate to that. I'm just going to get straight to dollars and cents. When you're starting your own business, especially for me, coming from a nice paycheck as a magazine editor for years, to start my own magazine, then to become an author, and of course a life coach, it was terrifying. It took a lot of courage and faith in myself and investing in myself to do this. So first you have to ask yourself, can you deal with nights and days where you can't go out with your girlfriends, okay, that you can't buy that bag, that shoe, or whatever it is that you want to buy, and take that money and invest in yourself? The next thing, what I found, every penny, and I was that kind of person that would see a penny on the floor and say, oh, no, I'm too good to pick that up. However, that changed when my piggy bank, those pennies, those nickels, those dimes add up, and when you go to the bank and deposit that, and it's $50, $80, $100, you can reinvest that in yourself, in your business. So every penny counts. And the other thing is, every payment that you get from a client, reinvest in yourself. Take $5, $10, $20 and put it to the side. I have a little Coca-Cola can that kind of a friend of mine created this for me, and I'll put $20, $10, $5. So at the end of the month, I'll end up having $200 or so where, I may need promotional items for my business. I may need X, Y, or Z for it. But at the end of the day, think about reinvesting in yourself, taking every penny that you can and putting it to the side. Paying yourself first is so important. Again, paying yourself first. I don't care how much it is. $5 every week, $10, whatever it is, please pay yourself first. And if you are thinking about owning your own business, it can be extremely satisfying and scary at the same time. But if you stick with it, truly stick with it and see past the obstacles and really look at the future and what can happen, it can be so rewarding, as all of us can attest to. Okay, but at the end of the day, pay yourself and always reinvest in yourself. Every penny, every nickel, every dime, every quarter.
And really quickly, it's so funny, when you're not a brick and mortar, it's hard sometimes to see yourself as a business or people to see you as a business. One thing I did initially, I incorporated my name, I trademarked those things. That is what also makes you a real business owner. Owning my company, Brooklyn Fashion Forum, owning Patus, owning all those names, owning the rights to it. Because sometimes I know of one of my clients, I can't ever say the name, but I know a client who went years without owning their name. And the company that they worked for bought the name and started to franchise it. True story. True story. And I never forgot that. So it doesn't matter if you don't have a brick and mortar, you can still be a business. Have a business account, because at the end of the day, when you want to take that leap, if you don't have accountability of what money you've been making in the past, it's kind of hard for people to take you seriously. So keep those receipts. Give a receipt when you do someone's hair, or when you're giving them a consultation. Write them a receipt. Keep those books, because all of that adds up and is a paper trail of what you've been doing and what you've been making. And people are buying houses off that stuff, because that is a real income that you have coming in. But without that, you have nothing to show for it. So own your name, own the right to your company by incorporating those things and trademarking, and all that's so important. And that makes you a business, even if you don't have an actual brick and mortar that people can come to.
To expound a little bit on what she said, you don't have to have a brick and mortar. I kept an office on 26th Street for over 20-something years. When my last child came, who is 11 years old now, after the first couple of years, I didn't need to go into Manhattan as much, and more of my clients were international. So that means where my home office is now part of my tax refund. Okay? At the end of the day, what I didn't hear you talk about, if you want to go out on your own to have a business, no, you need to put money away. That should be your living money. People of non-color do not put their money in their businesses. We start with a business plan. After a business plan, we look at where our money is coming from. I was Magic Johnson's New York office for years, okay? Irvin don't use his own money for nothing. So that's something else to take into account. Where do the funds come from? And you put your financial plan together. That financial plan should be coming together 12 months before we're thinking of opening. Yes, the intellectual property sides of it are very important based on what you're doing, if there's copyrights, trademarks to be needed, and there are ways to do it. You've got to not be lazy. Having the business is about where you're getting the money from. You don't necessarily have to rob your IRAs. Who's going to fund your business? Why? How do you think all these new techie companies are coming up? They're not funding them themselves. So it's something to think about.
Okay. I'm trying to take notes over here. So we're gonna jump into parenting, family, romantic relationships. I actually did a panel with Lisa, and one of the guests there said, "I'm proud of you guys for being so spiritually inclined and following your dreams, but you need a man." That's what we were told at one of the events. It was some advice for a woman who was married for years and years and years, so we definitely appreciated it. But what is your take on dating, taking care of a family, and conducting business?
I'm going to go first because mine is very short. A lot of people who probably know me personally know that I am extremely private. Just like they say, don't bring work to home, don't bring home to work. It's that simple. I don't talk about my personal life. I keep everything private. I feel like that's the way to be, because if the minute you say, hey, I have a child, you know, if transitioning over to another project, they may not want to hire you because they say, well, 3 times this week she said she has to pick up her child. Like any issues that I have going on in my personal life, I try to keep it personal.
He just passed it to me. What is yeah, he just passed me the mic. You know I got something to say? You know I got something to say. But I will say this, it is a balance between love and as well as doing your business. I can say that right now, I'm in a position where a lot of people are, I'm 27. I just turned 27 July 6th. People are saying to me, where your man at? Girl, what's going on? Any kids? I'm like, no, I'm good. So I just think it all depends on what life is bringing you. If life is bringing you a good man and he has to together, he supports you, take him. Good, you got it. But if life isn't and you're just still grinding and you are getting to the place where you need to be financially, then that's the most important thing. So, of course, in keeping your business private, your personal business private is very necessary. In terms of moving into other people's, other people's situations, because people will start talking about what you got going on, who she's messing with, who she dealt with, why she's dealing with them. Oh, so a lot of he said, she said, God forbid for real in the entertainment business, as we all know. So just keep it cool. Keep it cool.
So I am in, like I said, my 8th year professionally in business. I've been extremely private about who I date or who I don't date. But this used to always be a sore spot subject for me because people would interview me all the time. So who's that someone special? I want to know what's going on. And I didn't really have much to talk about. I was an entrepreneur. I was very devoted to my career. But thankfully, it's been God sent me a good partner. And he has been so supportive of my career, so supportive that when I said in Paris that my photographer canceled, he actually flew to Paris for one day and met me in Paris and supported me there. And it was incredible. It was like, to me, a movie. I've never seen nothing like that in my life. And I was but I'm thankful for the wait, and because he is here now, I make it my business to balance that out. I make it my business to make time to nurture what we have when he's away, when I'm away, or when we get together, it's very special. So I think balance is very important when it comes to relationships and your career.
So when I speak from a place of experience. I've been engaged twice, married, divorced, I have a baby daddy, been a single mom, and now that I've gotten to a space where I'm trying to be this entrepreneur and doing everything, I fought with myself having a child. I felt almost guilty for having to take so much time to write a book and publish it, because I hope there's a few more authors in here, but that's a process, right? And it's just constant conversation within yourself, saying to yourself that you're not only doing this for you, you're doing it for you first, but you're doing it also for your child. Because the worst thing for me as a parent is to hear as a child, to hear your parents say, I had to sacrifice my dreams, because I had to raise you. No child wants to hear that. I would rather be an example of, a winner and have him, use that type of motivation to get everything that he wants out of life. So that is definitely a constant conversation. I'm doing this for him, I'm doing it for me, I'm doing it for all of us. Just being the best person that I can be. Now, as far as dating and relationships, okay. I would say that you would definitely, and I've been blessed to have one come into my life, you need to have somebody that speaks your language, especially when you're going for the gusto in this life, right? You're going to be up, you're going to be working long hours, you're going to be really focusing on your dream, and if you have somebody, for me, I can't date the typical 9 to 5, just wake up, go to work. You have to have a dream as well. Because if you don't, our conversation is going to be night and day. And then it's going to be you get jealous. They can get jealous of your ambition, So I would say definitely make sure that you and your partner speak the same language, and that you're 100% involved in each other's lives to make sure that you guys are really hitting your goals, together. Because I think that once you have a partner that is going for his goals as much as you are going for your goals, it only makes the bond better. Because now you're celebrating wins together, and we're dreaming together now, and we're going through this life, together. So I would say that that's very, very important.
To piggyback off you guys, balance is, oh my God, it's so important, and it's so hard being an entrepreneur, especially being as busy as we all are. But for me, that balance is, first, I am the most important person in my life. I am the most important person in my life. So if I'm not right, nothing else can be right. So my strategy is I take always a few minutes in the morning before I start my day for myself, and always maybe 5 or 10 minutes during the day, and then at bedtime. Now, with that being said, because I love myself, I also, when I'm dating someone, I love that person. So I also take moments to pamper. Just as I pamper myself, I pamper them. I don't have any kids, so my thing is balancing dating and balancing my career. So again, I take those moments for myself. That's how I balance and keep myself sane. Take moments for myself, whatever that may be. If that's and since we're all adults in here, I'm going to keep it real. Masturbating, whatever it is, it's real. Thank you. It's real. So sometimes I have to get to the gym 5 or 10 minutes later, or I have to sacrifice sleep for like 10 or 15 minutes, whatever the case may be. I take those moments for me. Listen, I am honest and open with it, okay? It is what it is. I don't know what to say after that, but
I definitely date, but I also feel like dating has been a gift and a curse for me. I've always been someone that has been in business. 7 years ago, I had a kids t-shirt line. I love tweens. I love that whole genre of clothing, and I'm really highly thinking about reintroducing that line. I've loved it. Had a lot of fun working on it. But during that time that I was putting my kids t-shirt line out there, this guy I was dating, he was a high-profile electrician, which doesn't sound like it's high-profile, but he had like a lot of high-profile clients, and he was pretty successful in, in his own right. He had his own company. But I felt like being in that relationship and trying to launch my product was kind of like a gift and a curse. So many opinions, so many thoughts, and I really feel like that was, it kind of became a burden on my product and on my business. Every relationship is not going to be like that, but I think at some point or another, it's good to have that. If you're not currently in a relationship, and if you currently don't have anyone that is like worth your time, I think it's really important to spend that time by yourself cultivating your brand and your product. I feel like sometimes we have to have someone, we have to have the company, we have to have sex. You don't. And I learned that the hard way. I learned that the hard way, even the men, you don't have to have someone, and if there's no one in your life that's really that important right now, and you're kind of just kicking around with them, then maybe you should just take 100% of your time and focus on you. And I think that is such an important thing to do, and I'm learning that now. And just when I'm deciding to focus all on me, here comes someone that's kind of nice. Not 100%, not sure if this is the right guy, but I'm like, why are you here? What is going on? But whatever. But I'm just saying, but more than ever, I've been just focusing on myself, and I think that is so important. So just as a business person, male or female, you don't have to have someone. And my mother always tells me that. You don't have to be dating somebody. Sit down. So yeah, that's just focus on yourself and focus on your brand. And I think that's when you come out on top.
A relationship is to learn about the love languages. I'm not sure if everyone here is familiar with those. So I believe there are 7, right? 7 specific, 8, 7, 5? There are a couple, all right, love languages. And pretty much what it means is that every person shows and receives love in a different way. And I think that that's important to research, and there are like little tests you can take to find that out, because if you are, currently with someone, it can help you to understand maybe why when you do something that in your mind is, I'm showing this person love, maybe it's not received from them the same way because they may not receive love in the same way. I know one is like gifts, so like certain people like to buy you gifts, give you gifts. There's physical touch, there's quality time, there's words of endearment, so like getting, somebody saying, oh, you look really nice, you look beautiful today. So I think that that's something to also understand, because a lot of the times, especially me, speak as an actor, my life tends to be really non-traditional, very crazy, day to day. I may have to be up 3 o'clock in the morning putting myself on tape for an audition, whereas for me, services, I personally like to do things and receive, like, I'll do something for you. If you need something done for you, that's how I show my love. Whereas the person that I'm with, that may not be the way they receive love. They may need physical touch or quality time, where that may not be mine. So I think that if you are blessed to be in a relationship with someone, learning how they show love and how they receive love, this way you can better understand them and their needs, and also balance as well.
I'm so much of a listener that I'm just loving. I think I'm just bathing in everything that everybody's saying. And I'm used to more so interviewing people and listening more than talking, so I apologize that I've just kind of been in the gaze and listening to what everybody's saying. I just want to quickly add that I am such a fan of love, relationship, marriage, sex, all of that. Like, I'm a fan of all of that. So I think having that in the highest quality is the magnum opus. It is everything. So I'm a fan of it when it works for you. And I think knowing yourself first, you can solve a lot of other problems and eliminate a lot of other imbalances and obstacles and things that we've all mentioned on the panel. But I think knowing yourself first and getting to know yourself, spending time with yourself, I think that will help eliminate a lot of things, because then you know what you want, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, you know what makes you feel great, and you know what you have time for and what's worth your time and what's going to add to your life, because every moment that you have is precious, and you should definitely, I think I heard Katie saying earlier, you dictate your time, like that's so important, and I had to echo that. So I'm just going to add that, but I'm just loving this panel.
When you're a woman and you have a business and you have children, the biggest thing is everyone has different priority sets. There are women you know of who look like they have businesses and they're doing X, Y, and Z. It is not their priority to raise their children. So they have nannies who are doing it. They make enough money to do it. It's the nanny's responsibility. They spend minimal time with their children. I raise my kids hands-on. My boys are 31, 30, my daughter's 27, and my last one's 11. My 11-year-old works. I had to relocate in January 2015 when he was 9 because we had to live in Europe for 5 months. He's working. So it's based on what my priorities are, how I can shift my things. Before I had him, I think I slept 4 hours a day. I had 2 nights a week that were my celebrity nights in the city to party. I had to be on other people's red carpets, and I still had to do my meetings, be at labels, studio time, etc. It's on me to decide. So what does that mean? That means maybe there's going to be 2 crock pot dinners cooked. I went to sleep, the food is cooked, it's going to be ready, it's going to be in the fridge, so I don't slack on that. But there were advantages to me not sleeping, running like I did. I think my children were more successful for it. They grew up in a different environment, they were exposed to a lot more. My daughter finished her master's at 22, studied in India and Ghana, because those are my requirements, that she's a global citizen. Every class shouldn't be in a classroom. So it's about knowing your priorities and then knowing how to set your stage. I can say, you know what, I'm shutting everything down, 45 days, and all of this is going to have to work for online because now we need to do something else that's going to serve the family. So it's based on what your priority set is, and then you allocate from there. But it's important. In terms of love, interesting. The first years of my life were very difficult. The majority of men who targeted my ass for all the wrong reasons. It was about who me and my family were in the business, and I could have a record deal, I could get a label, I could do this. They were trying to ride for the wrong reasons. And I have a very old prophecy, and I believe in love. My grandparents in April celebrated their 75th wedding anniversary. The Obamas sent them greetings because they are 91 and 95, still hitting 18 holes 3 to 4 days a week and hanging out and partying with us. necessarily the people of yesterday are not who we have a choice from today, and the priority set is different. Now, you mentioned something about everybody having a dream, but see, we can't both be in the house with the dream if ain't nobody got no medical benefits for the baby. So I'm telling you, coming through the game, and I was the only chick. I was in a male-dominated industry. I didn't have to lay with nobody for my checks. Majority of the men that you saw who were successful had a woman with a 9 to 5, and her medical benefits kept them floating, and they knew at least we can cover the basics while I'm trying to pull this over, because it ain't always gonna go right. That's the reality. We have to be really reality-based when we have children involved, and we have to have goals for them. Making your kid look like Nicki Minaj, that's not what real industry people do. Their kids are going to independent schools. They're getting another education and experience.
I think faith with the dream, faith with the relationship, faith with your education, whatever it may be, believing in something good, believing in something strong enough, because that is the foundation to everything that everyone is saying up here. Just having the faith that what you desire is possible. So I just wanted to throw that in there. And I'm actually going to wrap up because I also want the audience to ask any questions that they have and give you guys some time to mix and mingle. This is my last question. So I host a 3-day festival and conference every year. It's focused on music, fashion, and film. And what I do is I pair it with people who are on the executive side, entertainment lawyers, accountants, etc. Because I believe you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the business smarts to back it up, you won't go anywhere. My brother actually at the age of 16 got a record label. My mom really didn't know what she was signing at that point, and he was shelved. Thankfully, he is a writer on Sony ATV, and he's making his mark behind the scenes. But ever since seeing him go through that, I made it my business to actually help people in these industries to be more than just another talent on the block. So my question to you guys is, what is the name of the 3-day festival is Connect. Because I found that whether you was on the block, in the boardroom, or on campus, you had to have a connect. So what is the power in having a connect and in networking and meeting different people? Anyone?
Something I always talk about is, well, growing up, I met my friend Salima at this program called the Hip Hop Project, and it was founded by Russell Simmons years ago, and it was a bunch of kids who were artsy. I went to PPAS and I played saxophone, and she was a singer, and everyone I knew was artsy, and and that's what I always wanted to do, but I always felt like the people that were put on never wanted to put me on, or I always had to drive them crazy to tell me information, and I've never been that person, because I feel like when you give information and you give back, that only comes right back to you. But in saying that, when I wanted to get a client as a wardrobe stylist, I remembered what his name was Funky back in the day, now it's Kazi, Chris Roll. He said something so powerful. You have to talk to people and tell them what you have going on, because you never know who you're talking to. When you start telling them, I'm doing this or that or this or that, that person, brother might be somebody, cousin somebody, and the next thing you know, you put on. So me, I met Ego, and I'm like, yeah, I'm assistant stylist to this person. I was on this set, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay, I'm gonna keep you in mind. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Never even thought about what he said. 5 months later, yo, Salita. He always called me Salita. To this day, I'd be like, well, my name is Salita, not Salita. He called me Salita. I need you to come down to Atlanta. Yeah, I'm about to blow up. I'm on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'm like, all right, whatever. When did you get down here? So I took a break from my job at the time, and I went to Atlanta. But from that, one of my old friends from Hip Hop Project, Amber Ravenel, Celia, listen, Tahiri needs somebody. I saw on your Instagram that she was doing this. Are you still doing that? Okay, great. Can you come back to New York? She needs a look. Then I ran into somebody who didn't follow me on Instagram. Oh yeah, Tashima Simmons. Yeah, she needs a look. She paying some good money. Come up to her house and dress her. Talking, telling people. Everything you say, people be listening, trust me. So you gotta talk.
A couple of things. on that point. I think I love partnering, strategic partnerships. When I meet people, I look for how I can partner with them to make something bigger and more exciting, and I look for the connections. Personally, I'm not into networking. I don't like networking, and I get up very early in the morning as I open my studio at 5:45 in the morning. Sometimes I can't be out of that party, you know, because sleep is, talk about priorities, for me sleep is a priority. Because I think better, and my brand is wellness, and I have to be an example of that. Though the first year of the studio, I did not sleep, but now things change and your priorities change. So, and I found, like, you know, sometimes just being out about it at night and talking about what you do, sometimes you do make that great connection, but sometimes in the field that I'm in, it's like it doesn't translate. Like I may, you know, having drinks, and like you're not gonna come to the studio necessarily, you know. And it's like sometimes at a certain point, people find you because you're not out there, because they respect that, they see you in your work, deeply devoted to what you're doing, and you're not so exposed. Like I spent my first, different periods. I spent a period being really exposed and being out at every restaurant and bar and harm and making those friendships and making those partnerships. And sometimes also when that foundation is there, you can trust that you can go inside and be quiet and work on your projects and keep your head in your game and not be at every. You have to be out and support your friends, of course, but you can't be out at everything because then you're not working on you, you know? But strategic partnership is extremely important to me, and sometimes not even strategic, because I get joy in my life from just partnering with people and helping people, even if it's not necessarily going to pay off in a way that you might realize right then and there. But I get a lot of life from that, for myself, and you don't know what it could turn into either. I just enjoy that as a creative person, and I believe in having different, something I heard across the panel, and I went back to the financial conversation, is like having a lot of different streams of income. So even though I left my everything, like I said, put all the chips on the table to open the studio, I recognize that small business is not forever in communities that are changing. We are a big part of bringing life and opportunities to a community, small business, but that lease is going to run out, and I know how it works, you know? I know that big corporation is going to be able to come in and offer yoga for, you know, $99, you know? So I have to think beyond the box of the studio. So I try to make relationships and projects that are outside of that, like a digital project, like a yoga festival that can happen anywhere, like a brand, like a book, you know, those kind of things. So you're not just in one thing, and those kind of projects you need partners for, right? Because I can't learn every job. Even though as an entrepreneur, you kind of do have to learn a lot of things that you never thought I was saying before. I didn't know I was going to be an events planner. You know, some of you have been to my events. I didn't know that I was going to do that. But you have to learn a lot of different aspects, but you also have to be able to partner with people who specialize in that, because my specialty is yoga, and my specialty is not social media, even though I have learned it. So learning how to partner with people who have some different skills, and you also want your skills really helpful.
So what I found to be more helpful is actually networking with the people who are taking the same classes that I'm taking, the people who are going to the same programs that I'm going to. They have the same hunger, they have the same drive, and then I'm able to create a mastermind group. There's a book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. It's an amazing book. Everybody should read it. And he talks in that book about having a mastermind group, because it's so important in whatever you're doing to have a group of people who support you and have your back, who may know more than you when it comes to, hey, I'm shooting a film, you have experience in this, can you look at this and give me some type of idea, and then I can look at your project and I can help you with your project, and we can work together, because then we can build an empire together, rather than me just putting my card, giving my card to someone who doesn't really care, like who's not looking for me, who's not checking for me. Where I can work with my mastermind group, we can create something that's amazing, that goes viral, that causes buzz, so that these people who we want to work with, then they have a reason to call us. They have a reason to say, hey Chantal, I want you to come and I want you to work on this project because I saw what you did I saw this video of you on YouTube. I saw this clip of you. I saw a picture of you with Kevin Spacey. Now I want to work with you. And I found that works better for me, just creating a group of mastermind people who have different experiences and, of course, more knowledge, like you said earlier. If you're the smartest one in your friends, you need a new group of friends. Like, you have to consistently surround yourself by people who know more than you and who can help you and help you to elevate. And you want to elevate and you want to get higher. So I found that networking in groups of people who are doing the same thing that I'm doing has helped me out a lot.
Thank you guys so much. I want to open the floor for anyone who has questions from the audience. Okay. You might have to. Yes. Okay. Danny didn't want me to tell you, but she made a promise to Megan, her daughter, to take her out, and that is where she's going. So thank you.
I can speak loud as well. Hi, I'm Martina. I'm actually friends with Chantal. I saw she posted about this. Just to start, you all are very inspirational. Like, I'm a little young, so I'm looking up to you all. But I do have a question. Just because you all have made a lot of decisions within your career, and it's a diverse career field. How do you say no? How do you know when sometimes when opportunities, or you think opportunities are coming your way, when you're fresh in your career, sometimes you don't know if it's the right answer, but sometimes you feel it in your heart. How do you say no? How do you go about that? I know that's not like a difficult question. That's a question I don't know. How do you have a contract or a negotiated contract on the table with a network or something like that? And sometimes you have to walk away, even if you feel like how would you go about that if you feel like you should say no?
Hi. I just wanted to, since I have the mic, I might as well go ahead. But no, I'm very passionate about that. That happened to me recently. A producer contacted me about a show, and I knew in my heart it wasn't for me. And so basically, I'm a praying woman. I just have to put it out there. I pray and I let God order my steps. I'm not going to lie about that. That's something I'm very strong. I feel very strongly about. But it's a way to decline a project. So I wrote back to the producers and I thanked them for their interest, for contacting me. I also said to them that at this time, this project didn't really fit me or my brand, but I would love to be considered for future projects. So it's, please stay in touch, please let me know, and great success with everything you're doing. So you can respectively decline an offer and still maintain your morale. It's fine. It's fine.
Also, if I could really just take what I know now and go backwards, it would be even crazier. I believe so much in intuition, and I feel like I always had like this innate kind of third eye that's like, this is not right. But oftentimes you're like, whatever, maybe I'm crazy, maybe that's God talking to you and telling you, no, this is not the right opportunity. I mean, everything, sometimes it can be self-doubt. You gotta know the difference. But a lot of times it's just inside you and you know it's not the right thing to do. I also think sometimes you can't let your ego get in the way of things. Oftentimes we see ourselves where we want to be, and we answer projects based on where we want to be. Well, I'm the next Beyonce, so I'm definitely not going to be in that group. Wrong! I mean, I know this is so silly, but I always think back like, man, I wonder how those other girls feel now that, that sometimes people don't even think about them when they were in Destiny's Child, the original members. I'm not knocking them, but I'm saying sometimes their egos. I'm supposed to be the lead. Sometimes everybody can't be the lead role. Somebody might have a supporting role for you that may be that role that gets you that lead role that would be your biggest hit yet. So sometimes you gotta do those little baby steps. Everybody wants to go from your front stoop to Hollywood. It don't work that way. It's a process, and you have to enjoy the process and the journey. So intuition, and also just check your ego and make sure that you're not answering something based on where you think you are or where you want to be. be realistic, like, okay, what is this offering? What's the good side? What's the bad side? How will this further my career? Because I never turn down regular people who, not regular people, like, you know, regular civilians that are like, hey, can you style me? I answer them back. I give them styling advice. I help them because oftentimes, sometimes they pay really well, and they pay just as well as my celebrity clients. So I never look at it like that. Hopefully that helps you.
Sorry. Just to, okay, sorry. Because I know that you're an actor, speaking specifically to you, just piggybacking off of that. A lot of the times, a lot of people will offer you a role, right? It's an indie film, a web series, a project. A lot of the times those people don't have any experience themselves. They're just trying to figure out what they're doing. I think it's very important, especially as an actor, somebody who you've paid for training, you're paying for headshots, you're paying for classes, you're consistently investing in yourself. You have to get to the point where you can't do every and anybody's project just to consistently say, I'm acting, I'm doing something. So this may be a little different from, I'm not sure, like the businesses and things like that, but you have to get to the point where you said, I've invested X amount of dollars in this career. I've done extra work. I've done these no paid work. I've done no lines. Where you get to the point where you're worth more than that, you know? And if it's not going to further your acting career, if Lil John wants you in his web series and you know that he's never, it's not going to help you. It really does, because a lot of the times actors, we're working, we're doing something, I'm doing work, but not every job is a good job.
Yeah.
So once you get to the point where you're like, listen, I've invested so much money in this career. I'm consistently out here auditioning. I'm taking classes. I'm sharpening my skills every day. I have professional headshots, you know, which I know you do. Then you can't just do any old project. So it may seem as an actor like, man, I haven't booked anything in a long time, or man, I haven't worked on anything in a long time. But because you're gearing towards something bigger. Yes. Like before I became a part of the union, yes, I did everybody's project and I worked on so many different things and I felt like, okay, I'm working, I'm doing something. But now, because I'm in the union, I may not be working as much as other people, but the quality of the work that I'm doing is so much better. Being on set of a professional TV show, they're treating me like a professional because I am. Right. So in my mind, if I continue to say, okay, well, you know what? No, I'm not Angela Bassett yet, so I'm just going to still do this project that I don't really even like. I don't really even like the script. They're not paying me, but I'm going to do it because I'm an actor and I'm all about my craft, and it's not paying off. But then it's like, okay, I may only have a couple of lines on Blue Bloods, but now I'm getting residual checks every time that episode comes on, and I feel more like a professional actor. So I think that that's really important for you to understand and to realize as an actor and as somebody who's continually investing in your craft that you do have to start at the bottom and you do have to work your way up. But at a certain point, you have to realize your worth. And it's like, I've invested too much money into my career for me to work on this project that I know is not going to do it.
Yeah. But what about if you get opportunities from major networks? Say you get a contract on the table, and it's not necessarily reflecting what your brand is or what you want to do. How do you turn that down if it can't be negotiated, even if you have some great representation in your corner?
When you, like, what kind of, are they asking you to be like butt naked?
No, not like that. But like, I also am into hosting as well. So if I get a contract on the table that's under negotiation, that necessarily they want to take, let's say, a commission off of projects that they never helped me get, or they want to own me, and it's like I'm much further in my career. If you're giving me a contract, but you want a percentage of work that you're not even getting, how do you say no to something like that?
Just to go back to that, because I deal with like with contracts, agreements, all that. You have to be the main person that is the saleswoman on this. You have to sell yourself and not sell yourself short. You sometimes have to lie and say, you know, well, this other particular network is doing this for me, X, Y, Z, and the answer, the final decision will be made on Friday. So let me know, because I have situations too. So it really all depends on the situation and how deeply you need it, and what you need it for, and what your plan is. Are you for sure that that plan that you have in conjunction with this contract, is your plan going to supersede them anyway? Are you doing something that's magnificent regardless of somebody giving you a check? Or regardless, you get what I'm saying? It really all depends on what you have and plan an agreement with you and how you're going to deliver this particular plan with them. Because at the end of the day, they're going to do their job and they're still going to jerk you.
Yeah.
So you have to do your job. You know, so that's just how I look at it.
Right, and I know these two lovely ladies have something really important to say too, but real quick, know yourself, know your brand, know your value, truly know your craft and where you want to go and what you want to do, and no is a complete sentence. That's it.
At the end of the day, you're talking about contracts. Contracts, A, have to be evaluated. Contracts for entertainment have evolved to what's known as the 360. 360s are what tore most of the people apart who did things like the talent shows. All right? At this point in your life, you're not doing anything where anyone needs to be tied to a contract for periods of years. B, you don't sign anything you don't understand. Chrisette Michelle still pays her boyfriend on a regular because they signed a contract when she was in college, okay? So, and saying no, work doesn't fit you, you should know this. My son at 11 years old, I left a contract in the house, they wanted him to fly out to do this movie. I didn't have a chance to see the last page. I came home, so did you look through your sides? Yeah, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this, I think what happened? And I saw the last lines. Really? They wanted you to say that. I think it was more shock value. I know it won't make it to the movie, but he made it clear to me, they have enough little black kids running around acting ghetto, and I'm not about to contribute. So you need to know your defines. And again, with doing that business, no, every deal is not a good deal. Every deal is not meant to make money. Years ago, Michael Jordan handed my brother a deal. Yeah, we're going to do this production together. Why? You bounced a ball. My brother gets $65,000 a track. Why does he need Michael Jordan?
Right.
Was it going to get us more money? No. More deals? No. So bottom line of everything you do is evaluation. Sit down, figure it out. But do you sign a contract for hosting? No, you can sign to that project.
Right.
But do understand, we live in the day and age of a 360. So that means if I put you on American Kids Sing, you finish, I'm trying to own everything with that.
Yeah.
That's when you have a network issue. But if you're smart, you can work your way around it. That's what good attorneys are for.
See, that's the thing too, she said, the networks. This is a big thing with the networks. I actually know someone whose uncle went on Shark Tank, okay? Just to go on Shark Tank, they're taking a small percentage of your business. Disney is taking 2%. So just imagine if you get through the whole show. This is the new thing. And like she said, if you're not educated or not educated in that realm, or if you're not evaluating, or if you don't have a good lawyer, some people are so thirsty that they just want to get put on, and then put on gets them put down, and they don't know their money. So she's right, these networks know that we're in a society where fame means more even than money to people. They want the fame. So you have to not be blinded by the fame. My mother knows that's a big thing for me. Yeah, everybody can know me, but if I ain't get paid for it, I really don't think, she always tell me, if it don't make money, it don't make sense. And that's exactly how I always like to live, because I'm telling you, these networks know that we're so hungry for fame, and the fame will kill you. So keep the fame out of your mind, and always think realistically and as a business person, because the fame, you can have fame all day. There's a lot of rappers out here with fame and no money. There's a lot of reality stars out here, 1 million followers, no money, can't pay nobody.
Because there's no residuals. It ain't real acting.
It ain't real acting.
I always look at things from assets and liability, and she said evaluation, she said basically just say no. I think that summed it up between the two. Like, if you can, every Fortune 500 company looks at balance sheets. So what they're spending out, what they're getting in, what Chantal said, you have your headshots, you've been in classes, you've done what you should do to represent yourself as a brand. If you're, that's what she meant to put it in actor terms for you with evaluation. You have to see what you're getting out of the deal and what you're putting into it, and if that makes sense. If not, you do what Alicia said, just say no.
Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate it.
Okay, before we go to our next question, I just wanted to remind you guys, thank you guys for being at NABE Harlem. Please come back. I also wanted to thank Lawrence Miles of the New York Brunch Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much. All of the businesswomen here will be qualified to get free memberships to the New York Women's Chambers of Commerce. Thank you so much to Larry, Parker, the owner, and everything else, and his team of NABE Harlem. And what's the next question?
Oh, hi. Thanks so much. I'm, again, an invite of Chantal's. Awesome. I want to thank you all for the information you've offered so far, and I'm just really curious to know, and I know this is probably going to take a while, but are there like 2 articles or books that have really helped to shape your career and your business thinking that you can recommend for all of us? And also, I'm sorry I got here late. I think you're super, super awesome. Do you have like a online lesson plan skills share?
No, I actually, again, I used to build CEOs, so I privately coach certain people. But no, it's a wealth of things. It starts from the 48 laws of power to, there are so many things. There are a million things, and the reading is the most important thing. Because I read, I can run circles around my lawyers with contracts. Like, it wasn't that important because we were given that growing up. We had to have it, and it's just everything. So just keep reading and ingesting, and in each area learn. I had to deal with some credit issues. Within a month and a half, I became highly qualified in credit law. Because I don't want to ask you a question, and I got to rely on what you say, and I have nowhere to ask a question from. I have no source to come from. I know nothing. So whatever it is, pick up what you can to learn as much as you can. And I mean, till you die, you should be a sponge, so it's good.
Of course. Well, I would say, what books were impactful for you? Do you have like 2 of them you could think of, or? I mean, 48 Laws of Power, of course.
No, more than anything, I wasn't raised really by women, I was raised by men. And they were really those dudes. And I had to be accountable. And so the things that I had to live by, I think I had my first business at about 16. Yeah, I was 16. My first business on my own, I was in my own home at 17. So I was driven, but I had men around me, and I just didn't do the girl stuff that was cute when I was young. Like, we were sitting and building. We were talking about real stuff, we were talking about philosophy, we were talking and building, and just those things, they kind of structure the way how you think will determine a lot of things. When you are able to explore and step outside of boundaries, when you have more information to think about, to understand, it just changes how you deal with everything and how you lay that on everything in your life, how you implement it. So no, it's just lots. It's lots to do. It's lots to ingest. Right now, we're living in this state of terrorism here, and they tell you all this stuff about the terrorists overseas. They're not terrorists. There's some immigration stuff going on, but that's not what they tell us. I moved to Paris 2 weeks after Charlie Hebdo. It was not about Jews, Arabs, terrorism. It was about, we can't have an education, I can't move out of this little room I live in, and I have no hope. That's not what they transcribe it as on TV.
For me, I think what some of the ladies are actually saying too is the vision that you set for yourself. One thing that I had to do is actually expand my vision. One thing when I went to, I'll go back to my visit at 50 Cent's mansion, when I was sitting in his mansion, and I'm only seeing a part of this place. I mean, it was huge, and he sits there and explains to me, this was my first purchase out of my grandmother's basement where I couldn't even stand up. I said to myself, if God did it for him, it moves him, and this is like, from South Jamaica, Queens, I'm from South Jamaica, Queens too, to this, it expands my vision to what is obtainable. You understand? If we don't see it, sometimes we don't believe it. So traveling, like she said, traveling, when I went to Paris, that was amazing for me. It was amazing to be abroad and see how the culture is, see how we're accepted in fashion or not, see areas that need to be improved and expanded on. So I think you just really have to educate yourself and research. I tell all aspiring models, research, 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 and understand this is a business. It's not glitz and glam. Like, I work very hard. I work very hard, and it's not glamorous. You know, it may look like it, but it's hard work. So for you, I'm not, yeah, there's books I read, but honestly, there are a lot of more like self-help or, keeping my energy. With some of the ladies we were talking about, your aura and your energy, keeping your energy good, not carrying so much heaviness, because that relates in business. I don't care if you're in the boardroom or if you're on a photo shoot. Everybody feels energy. Everybody feels things you're carrying. So I would say, self-improvement with yourself and expanding your mind is some of the best ways to go about business as well. Hope that helps.
I have a couple of books just because I am a self-help book junkie. So, but I love to read, and I always feel like I'd love to read. So I mentioned this book earlier, but Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I mean, it's old, it's super old, but that book, I've read it like 3 times, and I always revert back to it if ever, like I feel myself like a limiting financial belief creeping up subconsciously, like I'll revert back to that book. The 4 Agreements is also a great book, and this is just for life. Like the 4 Agreements, I feel like is a great book. They are be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions. And
I always forget one too.
Be the best you can be. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. Always do your best. And I mean, it's simple things, but when you actually read the book, it's like, oh my gosh, like this makes a lot of sense to me. A new one that came out, I can't remember the author's last name. It's a yellow book, and it's called "You Are a Badass" by Jen. I can't remember her last name, but that book is like, she's hilarious. She's really funny. That's a great book as well. And then "Outliers" by Malcolm Gladwell is another one of my favorites.
The Art of Seduction is another one.
Yes.
Same author as 48 Laws of Power.
I have a book for you. It's entitled The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It's a really good spiritual book. It kind of got me through a lot with me just not knowing where I want to be, where I want to go. So The Power of Now just teaches you this is what you have to change now. But besides that, I think your experiences and you just building your skills, you can get through anything. Believe in yourself, believe in what you want to be. And, God, if you believe in God, God will guide you through what Asia said, through those decisions. And as well with your own prior knowledge, you'll be able to make the best decision with anything you do. That's what I do. I try my best to, pray to God, relax, think things through, and of course go back, like Chantal said, go back to certain books, catch up on things, because not all the time what you read in your book, you're going to experience all at one time. So you have to go back. So, yeah, The Power of Now.
Can I ask you a question? What do you do, or what do you aspire to do? Well, several things. I'm in film, and I'm going to school for social work. I start in August. So my goal is to work on social justice issues, blend it with film, work domestically and abroad.
Okay, so it wasn't really books that just guided me, like just books like what I named. I was interested in Jack Welch. I wanted to know how Ray Kroc did it. So what you need to do is pull the people at the top of your industry and get books on them, their journey, how they made money. Does anybody here know who Ray Kroc is? He's the owner of McDonald's. You know why McDonald's was worth millions of dollars? It was not about their burgers. From the day they opened, they owned every building they were in. They were a real estate portfolio you could buy.
I don't know if you're familiar with Stitcher, the app. No, okay. Someone else said it too. Is it Stitcher? I think it's Stitcher, S-T-I-C, oh my God. But if you Google it, you'll see what I'm talking about, because I listen to a lot of podcasts. So what you should do is just go in, I believe it's called Stitcher, but that's easy to look up. Go in and search within your field. So you can listen, because oftentimes they're being interviewed on different podcasts. But that's an excellent way. That's one of the things that I do, aside from reading books.
And TED.
Oh, yes, I love Ted. Oh, yeah.
And The Alchemist.
Oh,
Alchemist will get your life for you.
I just want to shout out my mom. No, seriously. My mom is like one of the, she loves to constantly figure out a new way of operating, and when she gets down, she's always trying to figure out the next best way to go about things, and she's definitely has instilled that and is instilling in it, that in me even at this age. And she introduced me to Bob Proctor recently, and I never heard of this guy, But I think it was so important because I'm a really big person, like, I love psychology. And I think I should have been a psychologist. I'm always reading Psychology Today and reading all these articles on why people do things and what makes us tick. And to me, that has helped my life a lot because sometimes I'm just like, this person is crazy. What the hell's wrong with them? And I'm just like, I'm reading about, well, sometimes that causes me to kind of diagnose people, and that's not cool either. But I think with Bob Proctor, going back to what most people said, it's the thoughts, that are in your head. And I think for so long, I had like these thoughts of, why am I not doing this? Why is this happening to me? Or always being so negative. And sometimes even still, you have these little thoughts. It could be PMS, it could be anything. But I think, it's good to stop those thoughts and flip it. Because if you don't, you'll be like in a downward spiral. And a lot of times people who are successful are just thinking a little bit differently, simply the thoughts. And I think one of the things that Bob Proctor said that was so important is fantasizing. Fantasizing a few times a day of where you want to be. And my mom has always had a really big imagination. Like, she would joke around and do things like, darling, call the servant to come in. Or like she would joke around and imagine herself on the Riviera. And it's real. When you have those fantasies in your mind and they become real, your fantasies unconsciously change your consciousness. And then you start moving towards where you want to be and attracting those positive things that you want in your life. So that's so important. So thank you, Mom. And Bob Proctor, I'm currently reading You Were Born Rich. And it's such a good book. It's all about the mental mind state and how you, and he mentions Think and Grow Rich. He mentions a lot of different, well, the person who reintroduced this book now, it's so good. Thank you, Mom. Bob Proctor. His videos are good. Everything is really good from Bob Proctor.
To add to the books that were spoken of, especially what Casey said, you don't necessarily follow the industry, you follow the people behind the industry. So it's so important to get the autobiography of such and such. It's so important to read the stories behind the Fortune 500 companies. For example, Google had a $100,000 check before they even incorporated Google. They had investors before they even were trademarked. So you have to figure out, and actually one of the guys from Google woke up from a dream and he had a dream about downloading the whole internet, and that is where Google came from. The two of them dropped out of grad school and started Google. So it's important to discover how people got to where they are versus looking at where they are. Another thing is, regardless of how much you read, if you do not put the footwork behind it, you're just going to be filled with a lot of stories. So that's another thing. You have to put action behind the knowledge that you actually obtain. So I think we're going to wrap up and we're going to take some pictures. And again, I wanted to say
thank you to Your Voice magazine for covering the event. So look cute, everybody, behind you. Thanks, Chloe.
So I wanted to thank once again NABE Harlem. Businesses, especially support the businesses that are in your communities and in your neighborhoods. And NABE Harlem is a place that I've literally fell in love with. I do a lot of my Connects events here. It is a place that I genuinely love and support, and I hope that you guys do the same. Lawrence Miles, you wanted to give a few words. He's responsible for a lot of the amazing people up here, the amazing women, and I'm just very, very grateful for him and everyone else for coming out a lot short notice. I really, really appreciate you guys. You guys need more than you know. That's what I can say.
Wow, give it up for Tashima Jones. I had a lot of rum punches. Chantel. All right, give it up for Chantel. I'll just run down the line. I know everybody's name now. Avery. Avery Moline. Robert Lang. Lisa King. I'll tell you. She's over here. Katie Wilson. Always say on. Katie's going to give you a lot of info. Alicia Rivers. What's that book, Alicia? Jules Noble. It's about Selena Simone. Good luck. Now, see how I remember everybody's names? I'm just good like that. I represent represent the New York Women's Chamber of Commerce. I advocate for women in business like forever, so that's why I'm here basically. And Tashima, where's Selena? Selena Hill is back there somewhere. She called me in, so I said, let's just grab some great women together and make it happen. So that's what I do, basically, like Katie said. What did you say, Katie? You're the what? What are you? Olivia Pope. So I guess you could call me the Oprah. I'm the male Oprah. I put all the women together, help women with the EINs, the business licenses, certification. What else y'all need? Business plans, everything. One-on-one, one-stop shop, New York Women's Chamber of Commerce. I come from a long line of videos with Ralph McDaniels when y'all was watching It Takes Two. Joy and Pain, and you were seeing all that dancing, that was me. I got my good shoes on. So I just been in the game a long time, and I had to come represent for the women in business. Tashima Jones, great event. And I got some free memberships for all the women that want to join up for free. I got free memberships to the Women's Chamber of Commerce, of course. Peace.
Thank you guys so much.